Hey, what's up? Doug Cunnington here from Niche Site Project. I talk about Amazon affiliate sites, internet marketing, project management, and location independent businesses. So in this video, I'm sort of confessing that apparently I have like a little obsession with writing utensils and notebooks. So I didn't really realize it until a few weeks ago when I was like, I should get some more markers and let me check out this other notebook. I have mentioned that I like to write by hand versus typing. In fact, if I'm going to like a presentation or if I'm taking notes on something like live, especially like someone speaking to me, like someone live talking to me, or if I'm watching like a video, a training video, I will take notes by hand. And there have been studies where taking notes by hand is literally slower like writing versus typing it out. However, writing forces you to process the information. It forces your brain to process the information a little bit more and you end up retaining it better. So there have been studies on this. It's a thing, right? It's a real thing where like if you write things out by hand. So that's part of the reason. Additionally, just I kind of like to get away from a screen if I can. I'm in front of screens all the time. So let me just show you some of my writing utensils and stuff, and I'll sort of describe them, but let's go down over here. Okay, so yeah, this is just on the floor here, but we'll start with the pens. So I have lots of these. I don't use anything too fancy. These are all Pilot G2 pens, right? So they only cost like $1 or so a piece. And you'll notice the colors, and this is the thing that I guess is really intriguing for me. So at first I started with just, black and blue and maybe red. And then I found this other pack that had like orange and aqua and pink. And I thought, hey, those are super cool. But yeah, like nothing fancy. They're just, regular pens. I do like the way the Pilot G2s write, and they're not too expensive. You could buy refills for like even cheaper. So even if the ink runs out, it's no big deal. You could just buy like refills, and they're not that expensive. You could buy them like anywhere. So I use those. And then I was like walking through the store and I saw these permanent markers, which I always had like a black or a blue around just for, certain things, especially if I'm like brainstorming or something like that. I'll have these, permanent markers, but then I saw other colors again, and these are just Bic. They were slightly cheaper than the Sharpies, and I like Bic anyway, but they have the colors they list out is like blue sky blue, fandango pink, key lime, playful purple, rambunctious red. Fun colors, right? And I'm not sure why, but I do enjoy like the different colors here. So, and then notebooks, right? So I have several different kinds, and this one here was just like a super cheap one at Office Depot or Staples or something like that. It was like $1. And this is like just small enough, and I'll just carry it in my pocket and like jot down ideas if I'm out walking or something like that. It's small enough. Again, this is about the same size, but it's much thinner, and it's like a flexible, not a hard cover. And this is actually a moleskin or moleskine or however you call it. And these are like way more expensive. So I actually don't get these as often because they're just like so pricey compared to other notebooks. Oftentimes I'll just get my notebooks from Walmart, and that's like where these two notebooks came from. So these are just like plain lined notebooks here, and nothing fancy. The paper is pretty thin in this particular one here, and a lot of times I'll write like my to-dos in this particular notebook. They cost about $4 or so at Walmart, and again, nothing fancy. And I'll take this with me in my laptop bag. I'll take it to the coffee shop, write out my stuff, and I could use one of these for about 9 months to a year or so. They last a pretty long time with the amount of info that I put in them. This one here, again, from Walmart as well. I sort of used it as like a makeshift 5-minute journal. So I like wrote out stuff that I was grateful for. And what else do we have in here? Grateful, what would make today great, affirmations, and then 3 amazing things at the end of the day. But this has a little bit thicker paper, And so I'll use it for journaling. I actually don't do the 5-minute journal stuff, but I use this particular one for journaling pretty often. I got this notebook from Office Depot for the Converted conference. So I knew that I was going to this conference and I was like, well, I'll buy a fresh notebook. And the distinction between this notebook and the stuff from Walmart, the paper is like way thicker. So it's like higher quality paper. It's a little bit nicer to write on. The cover or whatever isn't that much different, but instead of like $3, this costs like 10 bucks. And then we have another moleskin here. So again, this is flexible, a little bit thinner. And I think I picked this up when I was doing a freelance gig and I just wanted to have a fresh notebook for it and something that was sort of higher quality. So I took notes at a particular freelance gig. And then I also use, like a lot of times these will come in from moleskin, they'll come in packs of like 2 or 3. And I basically wrote quotes and notes from books that I was reading in the remainder of this particular book. And lastly, another notebook from Walmart. And this one is an Exceed brand, but it was like during the school year, like sales and stuff in August, September. It's a soft cover, but it's a little bit higher quality paper and it's dots instead of lined. So you could like sketch things out. I got this notebook here because I was going over a course. I wanted to like use this notebook for a copywriting course that I was taking. So that's all that I put in here. And I'll probably write more like copywriting related things in this notebook because that's specifically what I got it for. So like I said, so I may have a problem with all my writing utensils and my notebooks and stuff, but I'm okay with it. It may be good to like consolidate some of the notebooks so that I just have like less of them. The other part is going back to find certain pieces of information. I have to make sure I'm like writing the right info in the right notebook. At the same time, one thing that I do is I'll, maybe journal or write a specific, say the first draft of a blog post or something like that, or the first draft of a course lesson. And then I'll copy it over to my laptop, right? So at that point, like I have an opportunity to like reprocess it, edit it, and then it is in a format where I could find it more easily. It's indexed, right? Most of the time, if I'm writing something like new or creative or whatever, in that case, like the first draft is something like, I know I'm writing the first draft and I know like in a short amount of time, I'm gonna copy that over to a digital format so that I could like edit it a little bit more readily, have other people review it and that sort of thing. Anyway, these are my writing utensils and tools that I use. Just wanted to share that with you. And it can't get more basic than like cheap markers and like cheap pens. Let me know in the comments below, like, do you like to write things out by hand? Do you only work on your machine, like your laptop? Do you take notes on your phone? Just curious. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, especially if you're into productivity or that area, please consider subscribing. I'm doing more and more on productivity and stuff like that. So again, I'm Doug Cunnington. Thanks for watching.